Debbie Vickers and Sue Knight, two best friends growing up in the 1970s.
Do I look all right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Want to go round with me?
Yeah.
God, I know I keep on saying it, but you're so lucky.
I can't believe he likes me. Do it too soon and you're a mole, then no one will touch you. Too long, he'll tell everyone you're frigid and drop you.
What if I don't know what to do?
You just lie back. He'll show you what to do.
You tell your friend we'll be back in half an hour.
I'll wait for you here.
It's Mrs. Vickers.
Get in the car now. You are such a good kid. Don't get caught up with kids that are going to drag you down.
When did you first kiss a boy, Jude?
Well, I was certainly older than our girls.
I certainly wasn't.
You can't always play safe. You have to feel. The late news is next on 10.
From the Network 10 News Centre across Australia, this is the late news. I'm Natarsha Belling. On tonight's program, police arrest an 18-year-old over the death of teenager Thomas Kelly, who was bashed while on a Saturday night out in Sydney's King's Cross. Our special report, how Australia's drug problem is shifting from illicit substances to an abuse of prescription painkillers. We ask who should be held responsible. And seeing double, the sporting twins now finding international success on the catwalks of Paris. Also ahead tonight, we'll be speaking with our reporter in France for the very latest on the tour. We'll cross live to London as more of the Australian team arrives for the Olympics. Brad has tonight's other sport news, and of course you can join the conversation using hashtag 10late or tweet me direct at Natarsha Belling. But we begin tonight with the breaking news of an arrest over the bashing death of teenager Thomas Kelly in Sydney's King's Cross. Our reporter Eddie Meyer is outside the police station where the suspect is being held. Eddie, of course, Thomas Kelly's death really did shock the entire nation. What can you tell us about tonight's crucial developments?
Well, Tash, what happened tonight is that police went to a sports field not far from this police station and arrested an 18-year-old man. Now, you might remember there were some pictures of Thomas Kelly out with his young girlfriend and her friend on the 7th of July, just a little over a week ago. The CCTV pictures show this young man on his way to an 18th birthday party on the phone, and he moves out of shot. We don't actually see the incident, the unprovoked attack that left him on life support and then ultimately his life passing. But what police did have was another CCTV shot. They recognised someone that they called a prime suspect, a young man with a string of offences to his name. They arrested him tonight, arrested that person tonight after shopping their photograph around a number of police stations in Western Sydney trying to find him.
And Eddie, there was a lot of pressure on the police to make a quick arrest in this case.
Oh, absolutely. This highlighted what many people have feared for a long time, the violence that has been escalating in King's Cross, violence that people say has been fueled by alcohol and drugs. Police needed to find the offender in this case, because it shocked everyone. It was an unprovoked attack on a young man out doing nothing. He was not drunk. He was simply on the phone. It was his first time in King's Cross, going to an 18th birthday party. His friends were wondering where he was, not realising that he was on life support. Now, 600 or so locals were at a meeting last night trying to come up with solutions with politicians, police, the hotels industry, and tonight we also had 58 hotels and licensed premises in King's Cross the start of an audit of those premises to work out whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. There is a lot at stake here.
Eddie Meyer, thanks for updating us on that developing story tonight. And for more of tonight's news, let's cross now to Hermione Kitson. Hermione?
Thanks, Tash. There's more breaking news, this time out of Syria. There are reports the country's defence minister and the president's brother-in-law have been killed in a suicide bomb attack in the capital. State TV says Daoud Raja and his deputy were killed in an attack on the National Security Building in Damascus during a high-level meeting of ministers. It comes as clashes between rebel and government forces in the capital intensify for a fourth straight day. Details of a national apology for forced adoptions are expected in coming months after another state today said sorry. Political reporter Matt Moran joins us live from Canberra. Matt, that makes it 2 states now that have apologised.
It does. There were tears at South Australia's Parliament when the Premier said sorry. Forced adoptions has affected thousands of people and it was sanctioned by governments and churches for decades from the 1950s. Western Australia's government said sorry in 2010. Let's have a listen to what was said today.
To all those hurt, we say sorry. Mothers were told that their babies had died when in fact they had already been placed for adoption. We apologise for the lies, the fear, the silence, the deceptions. We apologise for the lack of respect, the disbelief, the grief, the trauma and loss.
Very poignant. I think it's just hitting me now what's happening there. My heart's thumping a bit.
A little bit emotional watching it, seeing so many other people in the same situation that we've been in.
Now, the federal government has said it will say sorry and a reference group will meet soon. We don't exactly know when, to basically work out a date that the federal government will apologise.
Matt Moran, thank you. A Melbourne woman has paved the way for thalidomide victims around the world. Lynette Roy was born with no arms or legs after her mother took the drug during pregnancy. Today, she agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement.
This result shows you don't need arms and legs to change the world.
But while the Australian distributor has agreed to the deal, its German manufacturer is refusing to hand over a cent. A man is expected to be charged with murder tonight after being extradited to Sydney. 44-year-old Paul Darren Mulverhill touched down a few hours ago. He's suspected of murdering Rochelle Yeo at an apartment on Sydney's Northern Beaches yesterday before flying to Brisbane, where he was arrested. The 31-year-old was in a critical condition when police found her. She died a short time later. A Gold Coast newsagent has turned the tables on a would-be robber after finding him with his hand in the till. Adrian Chick grabbed hold of the robber, tackling him over the counter. He tried to hold the thief down while nearby shop owners came to help, but the man managed to escape, just with some small change. A quick look at the weather across the country tonight. It's currently 15 degrees in Brisbane, 11 in Sydney, 7 in Melbourne, 8 in Adelaide, 9 degrees in Perth. I'll have tomorrow's forecast a little later on. And Tash, I'll have more details on the suicide bomb attack in Syria soon.
Thanks, Hermione. Now to our special report tonight. Illicit drugs such as heroin and methamphetamines are usually grabbing the headlines, but in their shadow, prescription drugs are fast becoming a real concern in Australia. They're legal, often highly addictive, and millions of people use them to treat everything from pain and depression to anxiety. In the United States this week, new statistics revealed more people now overdose on commonly used prescription medication than illicit drugs, and this dangerous trend is beginning to happen here. In Hollywood, prescription pill popping has claimed many high-profile victims. Most recently, 80s superstar Whitney Houston. She'd reportedly been using a common sleeping tablet before drowning in the bath. Michael Jackson battled years of prescription drug addiction, and authorities detected 6 different drugs in Heath Ledger's system on the night he died in 2008, including painkillers, sedatives and sleeping pills. But now it seems it's not just high-profile stars who are getting hooked. Authorities in the US are now calling for a new strategy to deal with an explosion of prescription drug use, especially sedatives like Xanax and painkillers.
when we talk about addiction and withdrawal, there are only really two drugs that you can die from if you withdraw too fast, and that's alcohol and benzodiazepines, those sleeping pills.
These drugs can not only be addictive, they have serious side effects and could prove deadly, especially if they're misused. Statistics released this week show of the 36,000 overdoses in the US in 2008, more than 20,000 involved a prescription drug. Here, Ambulance Victoria figures show for the first time call-outs for prescription medication overtook alcohol and illicit drugs. Emergency crews attended almost 7,500 incidents involving painkillers, sleeping tablets and antidepressants. Alcohol was responsible for more than 6,000 calls, and only 590 emergency calls were made due to amphetamines and methamphetamines.
Many of the medications that people are prescribed are far more toxic than many of the street drugs that people purchase from dealers.
The AMA says it's a careful balancing act to provide the best care for patients in need of medication while restricting the same drugs from falling into the hands of people who could use them recklessly. One of the biggest manufacturers of prescription drugs, Pfizer, says all its medicines undergo extensive safety reviews. These make clear the proper and safe use of all medicines. So who should take responsibility? Is the pharmaceutical industry too powerful? Are the drugs too easily prescribed? Or should patients be better informed of the dangerous consequences of popping a simple pill? And joining us now to discuss this issue further is Dr. Gordian Fulder, the Director of Emergency at St Vincent's Hospital in Sydney. Doctor, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Natarsha, pleasure.
We've just seen that earlier story. How serious is the misuse of prescription drugs in Australia?
It is already very significant. We're having deaths from it, but the really big worry is we're following America. In America, there's more deaths from prescription opioids, narcotics, painkillers, than there is from heroin. Right? And in the last 10 years, it's been double the amount. And also in Australia, we are the third highest takers per population of oxycodone, which is the main oral painkiller that is available.
So do you think people aren't aware of the side effects? What's causing this problem, especially with all the potentially deadly consequences of prescription drugs?
It's very simple, actually. It's freely available. We have to, as doctors, we have to make sure patients are pain-free, be they cancer patients, be they patients with backaches, patients with arthritis, patients who've had an accident of some sort. That's our number one duty, is to make sure we can relieve those people's pain. We have many more agents now to do it. We're better at it, as we should, but obviously along with this has come the realisation that it is a narcotic. It's a derivative of opium, morphine and things. So it's freely available, there's lots of it, and then people have realised that it's cheaper, people have realised that it's safer. You're not buying a little plastic bag with something you don't know what it is. The effects are predictable. So in America, it's, as I say, it's the most popular, except for marijuana, of abuse drugs.
Doctor, we've seen some really concerning research come out about the side effects with some antidepressants, suicidal thoughts, also with Xanax, a commonly used sleeping tablet, really serious side effects there. Should we see an overhaul of the way people get prescription drugs?
Absolutely not. What needs to be done is more and more telling the patient what the risks are. Everything we do has risks. You know, you take an antibiotic, there's a risk. So that is the explanation of the patient, informing them, but I would feel very strongly in saying, look, if somebody's in pain, we really have to relieve that pain. We don't withhold it just in case, you know, some kid's going to pinch grandma's pills, etc., etc. No, society has to be aware of it, but relief of pain is nearly #1 job of medicine.
Do you think people need to be made aware, though, of the serious consequences and the addictive nature of some of these?
Yeah, I think we're in a great position in Australia, right, to get this a lot better, because America for 10 years has got itself into increasing trouble from the diversion and abuse of prescription narcotics. We can do better, we can learn from them, and we can prevent it happening to the extent it's happened over there.
Let's hope so. Really important issue. Thanks for your insight tonight.
Pleasure.
Stay with us after the break here on The Late News. Can there be too much drug testing at the Olympics? We'll cross live to London, where Australian athletes say there is. And we'll meet the twins who traded in their AFL Guernsey for the Paris catwalk.
Introducing Matt.
I kick goals on the footy field, now I want to score on Broadway.
Is this footy player a triple threat?
I think I'll be fine dressing in drag, something I don't do all the time. No, I don't ever do it. What am I talking about?
I Will Survive, coming soon to 10.
G'day. We asked the town of experts about our new sweet sesame crunch chicken.
The outside was crunchy and the inside is fantastic. It's really sticky, so it's fun to eat.
Thought it was juicy and succulent, it was good. Try it for lunch in a 2-piece chicken combo for just $5.95.
Odours love hiding in soft furnishings. But now there's Dettol Glen 20 Fabric Mist. It gets rid of odours by removing 99.9% of the bacteria that cause them on surfaces like sofas, curtains and cushions, keeping your entire home fresher longer. Dettol Glen 20 Fabric Mist. Say goodbye to odours.
Hi, I'm Doug Pitt. I might not roll over to a famous actress every morning, but I do roll over my unused mobile credit every month. Ha! Rolling in it.
If you think all vodka is the same, take a sip of our premium Russian vodka and think again. Russian standard. Vodka as it should be.
Introducing the next generation of clean. New Dettol Power and Pure. It powers through tough stains. Its active ingredient breaks down into water and oxygen, leaving no harsh chemical residues behind. And it kills 99.9% of germs. The new Dettol Power and Pure cleaning range.
Buy this and get a bonus Coles Sports for Schools voucher.
The law says that you cannot touch. I think I see a lot of lawbreakers up in this house.
Magic Lake.
Would you want to live forever? Aussie scientists believe they can make this a reality, and we have all the details tomorrow on The Project.
You can join the conversation tonight using @10 Late News. You can also like us on Facebook. Brad's here because we'll be crossing live to London in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at what's making news, Hermione.
Tash, tight security surrounds Syria's national headquarters following a deadly suicide bomb attack earlier this evening. Two groups are claiming responsibility for the blast, which killed the country's defence minister, Daoud Raja, and the president's brother-in-law. The attack is the most serious blow to President Bashar al-Assad's high command in the country's 16-month uprising. One of Britain's richest men, Hans Christian Rausing, has faced court over delaying his wife's burial. Eva Rausing's body was found in their London mansion on the 9th of July, but it's believed she may have died weeks earlier. Police searched the house after her husband was charged with drug possession. The 46-year-old has been charged with preventing the decent burial of Eva's body. North Korea's leader has been given the country's top military rank. Kim Jong-un has been promoted to Marshal 7 months after taking over from his late father. The 29-year-old's appointment comes days after a high-level military reshuffle where the army chief was removed due to illness. I'll update our top stories a little later in the show, Tash.
Thank you, Hermione. We'll now cross live to London, where our very own Leanne West is standing by with all the latest on everything Olympics. Good evening, Leanne. Now, firstly, after quite a disrupted lead-up, Elisa Barnard has touched on at Heathrow.
Yeah, Tash, not so long ago she was in the news for all the wrong reasons. Her dad accused of harassing one of her rivals for Olympic selection. Now, those allegations were thrown out of court and Elisa is finally here in London.
There was a few days where I had to take time off training to go into court, unfortunately, but it hasn't affected my mental state at all. Whenever I'm on the line, whether that's training or competing, all I'm focused on is my training and me and the target.
And Leanne, there's been some concern raised by some Australian athletes about the amount of drug tests being conducted.
Yeah, some complaints from rowers from both Australia and Great Britain about overzealous drug testing. They're saying there's too much of it and it's at wildly inconvenient times. Now let's hear some of the reaction to that here today.
Whether they like it or not, it's part of the system and they have to understand it and do it.
Compliance is the main thing, and there's nothing we can do about it. So there's no point in complaining or venting frustration or anything like that, because at the end of the day, if we don't do it, we don't get to compete.
And Leanne, how are the athletes adjusting to the village? Is it true some of them can't actually even fit in their beds?
Well, Hermione, who better to ask about that than a couple of towering basketballers? Now, Liz Cambage is 203 centimetres tall. She's rooming with Lauren Jackson, who is slightly smaller at 196 centimetres. Now, Liz tweeted a photo of Lauren in bed, and as you can see there is plenty of room for the big girls there. It seems that the basketballing pair are having a great time rooming together.
Liz goes, she gets me pistachio nuts. So, you know, and she'll make dining hall runs for me, so it's great getting the rookie of the team.
And just before I go, some of our badminton players have been hit by a bout of food poisoning. The good news about that is they should be back on deck in a couple of days.
Let's hope so. Thanks so much for the latest news from London. Leanne West there. To finance news now, and big falls from mining and energy stocks saw our share market lose ground after 3 straight days of gains. The ASX 200 closed slightly higher. Tokyo's Nikkei fell about 1/3%, and a short time ago, London's FTSE had recorded a slight gain. BHP Billiton came out today with a solid production report, including bumper iron ore output. Yet BHP shares dropped to their lowest levels in more than 3 years today, dragging on the overall market. Juliet Saleh joins us tonight from CommSec. Good evening, Juliet. Now, it seems the miners can't take a trick at the moment.
Absolutely, Tash. Most analysts in the market think that BHP shares should be trading around the $40 per share mark. Instead, today they came dangerously close to falling below $30, and that's despite that solid production report and predictions of bumper productions to come in the next financial year. Essentially what we're seeing is investors running scared because of what's happening overseas. So fears of a slowdown in China, also weaker commodity prices and worries about a cost blowout. But what we do know is when a company like BHP falls around 2% like it did today, it impacts the entire market.
Absolutely. And Juliet, the Aussie dollar continues to be kind to travellers. Finally, some good news. What's behind that?
Well, it's mainly due to what we're seeing offshore. Tonight we've had the minutes released from the Bank of England's last policy meeting, showing that policymakers voted overwhelmingly to pump more stimulus into the UK economy. Now, that's seen the Aussie dollar jump to 66 British pence tonight. It's also at a 2-week high against the greenback, and great news for anyone lucky enough to pack their bags and head to Europe. The Aussie dollar at a fresh record high against the euro tonight, 84.15 euro cents, Tash.
Juliet Saleh from CommSec, thank you.
Thanks.
Time now for entertainment news. Of course, the lovely Ange Bishop joins us here right on the desk. Good evening, Ange. Now, I'm a bit excited about this. Batman Begins. Fans beginning to queue for the much-awaited Batman movie.
Well, it's only minutes away. 1 minute past midnight, and they finally get to see the final instalment of the trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. Finally. I'm going to describe it as Chiroptera Nirvana.
What is very well
done.
done.
It's the scientific name for bat.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, look, we're the first in the world to get it, but it did have a glitzy world premiere in Gotham City, or New York, as some people know it, and all the stars were there. Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, who plays the new villain Bane, Anne Hathaway, Morgan Freeman, all there. And here, completely spoiler-free, Christian Bale explains what happens in the movie.
Well, you saw him make decisions at the end of The Dark Knight, which he came to regret. You know, they worked for the short term and not for the long term. He lied, basically. He's now become a hunted figure, and, you know, he's become a recluse even more so than we've seen before. He's let himself go physically and mentally, and this is a story of him, you know, recovering his purpose and getting back into action.
Okay, that made a lot of sense. Just in regards to the
fans,
movie,
mate, it does.
You've seen it. What's it like? Your
Look,
review?
I wasn't able to answer when you asked me how it was last week because we were under this embargo, and I don't know why, because it's absolutely brilliant. Director Christopher Nolan believes in not doing CGI, so instead it's thousands of extras, real stunts, action scenes, lots of money on the screen, a really good story to base it on. It's the way movies used to be made. I say run, don't walk, actually fly, don't run.
Really?
Go and see this
It's
movie.
better than the TV series with Adam West?
Kapow!
Kapow! Good answer.
Still in New York, and Tom Cruise has had his first chance to catch up with his 6-year-old daughter Suri since he split from Katie Holmes, and it was an intimate meeting, just the two of them and about 1,000 onlookers and paparazzi. I don't know about you, I'm feeling really sorry for this little girl. Every time we see pictures of her, she's burying her head in the chest of whichever parent she's clinging on to. It's hard enough for a little kid to go through a divorce without having to do it in the public eye.
Isn't she?
She's 6. I think
Correct.
they just should keep her inside for a while because the paparazzi are going to follow them. So I think they just have to keep her inside.
Cannot be good for her.
Oh, it's
growing
just
up.
awful. Look, closer to home, and a very A-list crowd has turned out to the Ivy Penthouse in Sydney. I love seeing how the other half live. Here you go, they're all she. This is for the launch of a website called Hooroo, which essentially gives travel tips, accommodation ideas. It was Mags. And those secret, fantastic places that only the locals know about, so that when you travel there, you kind of know where to go. Look, Megan Gale explains it better than I do.
But it's about offering a whole experience and not just stopping at the flight accommodation part. It's offering you more about what to do on your trip away, or even if you're just looking at driving down the coast a couple of hours and you want to get lunch, where can I find a great meal?
So do you have some tried and true travel tips?
Yeah, if you can travel with carry-on luggage only, that's the way to go. And you travel with no luggage.
I don't like to take too much. You go with minimal.
Yeah, and just for inform George, you know, small case, underpants neatly folded by his mother on one side.
Isn't it great to get a grand old Australian word back? Hooroo.
Mr. Michael, tell him he's dreaming cake and the best person to say hooroo. That's a Qantas initiative. Qantas hasn't had the best couple of weeks with the airline rankings, but they are trying to encourage people to holiday in Australia, even though the dollar is doing well. Which is great, which is what this website is all about.
Beauty.
Now, I caught up with Justin Bieber today.
I'm a believer.
You a believer? It's creepy on many levels. And look, I was in his hotel room, a position that any of these girls out here would gladly have murdered me to swap into that position.
Don't touch.
Yeah, not allowed to touch.
Back.
So he popped down to say hello to the fans today, signed some autographs, took some photographs. Then just as quickly, you know, pow, he disappears. And I tell you, when he goes, he leaves a very sorry sight in his wake. Look at that. There were a couple of girls down there today who had told their mothers they were staying at each other's place, boarded a plane from Melbourne to Sydney, slept on the footpath outside the casino overnight to meet Justin Bieber. This is the sort of thing.
Didn't the mothers call each other to check where they were staying?
No, I don't think they actually knew until they waved at our television cameras.
They will be grounded forever.
I don't think many people made it to school today. Look, Justin has not only left the building, he has left the country. You can probably hear the screams now from New Zealand, where he is as we speak. But before he went,
I thought it was a scream.
I did ask him about his fantastic car. Take a look at this. Now, I've seen some pictures of your car in LA. That is the most fantastic set of wheels I have seen. Is it like chrome plated?
It's chrome. It's chrome paint.
Chrome paint?
Yeah. So they paint it with this chrome. It's like they have to do this thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really cool.
It looks cool.
Thank you.
It's electric. It's kind of the
it's
environment,
all electric.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely environmentally friendly.
Where did it come from?
It's called a Fisker.
Was it a present?
It was a present from Scooter and Usher for my birthday. Yeah, so it's a really nice present.
You got to be happy. I'm loving.
But my present was making it chrome. They gave me a regular black Fisker, and I was like, no, this is lame. We need to make it chrome. No, I was just kidding.
There you go. Now, Justin is coming back for a world tour next year, unlike Madonna, who has announced today she's not coming. We were all ready for her. Stadiums had been booked. People were excited. It had never been actually confirmed, but now we know she's definitely not coming. She doesn't love us. It would have been her first visit since 1993.
Oh, gosh. Why?
No official reason given.
Just couldn't be bothered, I suppose.
Too far. That was Brad who said that.
We had her controversial new video on the late news. I think it was last night or the night before. What do you think? She'd been old to be...
She can do what she likes. She is a pop star. It's all about being a pop star. She can dress how she wants. She can be artistic, and she works hard at it. She looks good.
Retire gracefully, anyway.
No, not time. Do not listen to Natarsha Belling.
Okay.
Now, Ange and Brad, apparently it's not often that your worlds collide, but they do in this next story.
About time too.
I think so.
It's been a long time, hasn't it, Ange? Well, Ange, as you know, often reports on fashion, and I love sport. And this story involves both. You're about to meet identical twins, Zach and Jordan Stenmark, who have discovered for themselves when one door closes, another one opens. They're brothers, they're mates. And watch the way they get changed. Zach and Jordan Stenmark are so much alike. When you look this good, 2 is better than 1. Calvin Klein, Tom Ford and Ralph Lauren agree. The 20-year-old Sydney twins now fly around the world, strutting their Australian good looks.
I've been to countries that I never thought or parts of countries I never thought I'd get to go to, and I've met some amazing people. Yeah, just amazing people around the world.
Today, Zach and Jordan are at a David Jones casting call for the Summer 2012 collection. Zach's in black, Jordan's in grey. Theirs is a beautiful world of the genetically blessed who are young, fit and attractive. If, however, you're not young, not fit and not attractive, there's always a place at these events for a journalist. How's your day going, Mum? Good, thank you. Great. While they enjoy being international models, the Stenmark twins really wanted to be AFL stars. They played with the GWS Giants under-18 team, but they didn't make it to the big time.
I guess they're opposite worlds as such, you know, from being the tough sort of grunt of footy to the, you know, chic, you know, clean, like perfection of, you know, fashion.
Sport is in their blood. Their paternal grandfather played for the Wallabies. Their older sister Zoe is engaged to Swans premiership player Lewis Roberts-Thompson. We first met the twins when they were 13. Back then, football was everything.
What do you like about it? That it's pretty free range. You can just, you know, do whatever you want. Like you can shoulder charge people and stuff.
Modelling is also in their blood. Mum Susie was hugely successful in the 80s. Dad Damien dabbled in the profession.
They've done a great job. In fact, all 4 kids we're really proud of them.
Mum and Dad miss them as soon as they get on the plane to another city in another country, where being Australian is interesting. Being beautiful is everything.
Very fit guys and a fantastic look.
They're handsome, athletic and intelligent. Both are enrolled in agricultural economics at Sydney Uni. They model because they can, and it's fun. They come home whenever they can because they miss their family and friends. It's no wonder their parents are so proud. Lovely young men, they really are. And I mentioned everyone in the family there except the youngest, Louis, who I met tonight. He was doing his homework, God bless him. So Louis, a big hello to you too. But terrific family.
Lovely family.
Yeah, great.
Nice story, Brad.
Hey, we might do a bit more of these fashions. You're not a bit teary, are you? Just enjoyed that.
Worlds need to collide more often.
It was excellent.
All right, good on you. Thanks very much, Ange. Well, after the break, we will cross to Ian Cohen in France for the latest on the Tour de France favourite who's tested positive to drugs. Plus, a big bulldog cleared to line up against Manly on Friday night. And go-karting craziness, the driver who wasn't watching the road and ended up upside down. Look at that.
Saturday night starts with The Simpsons.
Then at 6:30, chill out with Ice Age.
And following Modern Family.
Blast into Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen.
Saturday nights are only this big on 10.
Extra Active with dual crystal strips helps give you a clean, fresh and healthy mouth. Now available in new berry flavour and watermelon flavour.
Funny thing happens when you have a great idea, then make it really easy to use. It takes off. Right from Byron to Broome. Our shoppers are saving a whopping 20% or more on the brands they love, just by swiping an everyday rewards card. And we're not stopping there. The more popular it gets, the more new products get the extra special treatment. After all, you've got to keep your feet on the ground.
20% off hundreds of great products. That's extra special savings from Woolworths Everyday Rewards.
Sometimes we can feel a little stiff and rusty. OsteoEase can assist with relief from joint and arthritic pain. It can also help with the repair and rebuild of cartilage. Enjoy better mobility with OsteoEase, the joint care specialist.
Heavy Duty Exit Mould. The #1 mould destroyer that works in just 3 minutes to leave tiles sparkling clean. This is mould. This is Exit Mould.
For a limited time, the Italian BMT melt is just $7. So now there are 3 classic Italian $7 Subway footlong subs.
As Sydney's only 1-hour news, you can rely on 10 News to take the time to bring you the story properly.
Every night at 5 p.m.
Hello chaps, the late news is going to London. From Monday the 23rd of July, we're there live every night. We'll have all the action from on and off the field. That's the late news live from London every night. Now keep calm and carry on.
And for the latest news from London, including athlete bios, photo galleries, competition schedules, blogs and videos, go to 10.com.au/London 2012. Brad, what else is happening in sport tonight?
Tash, we start tonight with yet another drug scandal from the Tour de France. Ian Cohen joins us from France. Ian, yet another high-profile cyclist has failed a doping test.
Yeah, it's amazing, Brad, isn't it? By now you would have thought we would just about be through it, but Frank Schleck, who of course came third to Cadel Evans and behind his brother Andy just last year, has tested positive to a diuretic. Now, the test was taken on Bastille Day, which was last weekend. It was revealed to him last night over here, and he was taken to the police station. He says he voluntarily went there, but obviously the police have become involved as well after what they're calling an adverse analytical finding. So there was scenes out last night as everyone was scrambling to try and find more information. He has been withdrawn from the race to prepare for his defence. He can get the B sample tested, and we'll wait and see what happens for that. The team arrived at the start today. Obviously plenty of activity around the team bus. He was in 12th position, some 9 minutes behind Bradley Wiggins, and as I said, was third behind his brother Andy and Cadel Evans. Jens Voigt, who is a teammate of him at Radio Shack, an experienced rider, he said everyone was shell-shocked.
What consequences it will have or it could have, and how we keep going in this situation. Yeah, it's, as you can imagine, it's a pretty tough and difficult situation.
Yeah, so certainly tough for Radio Shack as well. Pretty tough for all the riders today. It's 32 degrees here at the moment. Need a surfboard, but instead we're in the Pyrenees. 197 kilometres is today's stage. There's a couple of Category 1 climbs, including the famous Col de Tourmalet. As far as the riders are concerned, they reckon it is absolute torture. Have a listen to Simon Gerrans.
Well, I find the Pyrenees much tougher than the Alps, actually. They're generally quite a bit steeper. As a mountain range in general, but at the same time you get plenty of support. A lot of the Basque fans come up to the Pyrenees, so there's great crowds to support along the way.
So will Cadel Evans attack? We'll wait and find out. Bradley Wiggins, of course, is the man in yellow. Brad, I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Good on you, Ian. You can look for the surf. You're not going to find any. Ian Cohen reporting there from France. NRL now, and South's hooker Isaac Luke has taken the early guilty plea and will miss 3 weeks for his spear tackle on Sean Kenny-Dowell in Monday's thrilling win over the Roosters. Tonight, Bulldog Sam Cassiano fought his careless high tackle charge at the judiciary. League reporter Liam Cox was there. Liam, how did Big Sam go?
Sam went well, Brad. He was found not guilty, so he is free to play in the Battle of Brookvale against Manly on Friday night. The Bulldogs argued that Sam had less than 0.4 of a second to react when Fui Moi Moi started to slip. So he was found not guilty, and understandably the Bulldogs were relieved after the hearing.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the game on Friday.
You're a bit nervous in there, mate?
Yeah, heaps nervous.
Happy now?
Yeah, very happy.
The process was well served. There was a big difference around what an accidental tackle is, and that's exactly what was ruled tonight.
Now, big news up in Brisbane today. The Broncos re-signing coach Anthony Griffin until the end of 2015. He's done an outstanding job since taking over from Ivan Hanjak just a couple of weeks before the start of last season.
Just happy
you know, that the club's got some faith in me, and I really like doing my job here, so I'm happy that I've got a bit more time here.
Yes, as you can see, he's a very dry, laid-back customer, Anthony Griffin. Much like Wayne Bennett, he coached the under-20s to a grand final a few years ago, and he's brought many of those young guns through to the top grade, and they're genuine premiership contenders this year, the Broncos. A remarkable achievement given the retirement of Darren Lockyer last year, so he's doing great things up there, Anthony Griffin, Brad.
Yeah, he certainly is, that's for sure. Good on you, thanks to Liam. AFL now, and Chris Judd's manager has been forced to apologise to the AFL after slamming the league's handling of the report and tribunal hearing. Paul Connors was threatened with legal action after venting his anger over the 4-week suspension dished out to the Blues skipper.
Adrian Anderson, if he hasn't been speaking to Fraser and telling, you know, the world why this had to go direct to the tribunal, you know, I'll go he.
I've asked him to apologise. I think the comments were, you know, baseless and, you know, offensive to the process that's in place.
And the Dockers' worst fears have been confirmed, with Anthony Morabito to undergo a second reconstruction on his left knee. Now, here's a friendly reminder that you always need to keep your eyes on the road, even in a go-kart. Regardless of how good you are, when you're travelling at 114 clicks an hour, it always pays to keep track of your entire surroundings. Scary stuff. Neither driver was injured, and it's just as well because, Tash, you've recovered just in time for tonight's show.
You should see me try and park.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, it's not often you see soccer defenders nail 30-metre rockets into the back of the net, so when they do, you'd think they'd be pretty happy about it. Not this bloke, whose spectacular strike went straight over his own goalkeeper's head for one of the best own goals we've ever seen. And while his coach was left dumbfounded, as you would be, his teammates managed to find the lighter side of the plunder. So we have given him a player of the day. Very odd, but you see a lot of very odd things in sport, which is great. Now, I believe we've got some pictures just in of the USA Dream Team at the Olympic Village. Yep, there they are.
Wow.
Well, they're in Manchester, actually. I made that up. There's our swimmers. A few of them going past. There was Megan Nay. There's Big Kobe. I've got some really fascinating news on Kobe Bryant coming up on my bedtime bite a little bit later on. Just enjoying the good life in the UK, as you would.
Which I've organised on my iPad.
Oh, just hang around. Let's just see how this goes.
Thanks, Brad. You're watching The Late News. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at 10 Late News. Still to come, tomorrow's weather. And, of course, bedtime bites. Can't wait for this one. Stay with us.
Or slyly refuse me, just win me or...
It's the second half of the rivalry round for Bocky. Things are at boiling point.
It's hot, hot, hot. So on the South Sydney side in 2012, and guess what? Their superstar Greg Inglis joins us right here in the studio.
And we relive the 2003 grand final with Panthers hero Scott Sattler and Rooster legend Craig Fitzgibbon. Did you say hot, hot, hot?
That's right.
That's exactly right. It's big.
Australia's ultimate dance competition is coming to 10. Team Jason versus Team Kelly. Everybody dance now. Baby, let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you. Two teams go head-to-head in Australia's big new dance show. And it's not just the dancers who face off. Everybody Dance Now is coming to 10.
Wouldn't you love to start every day with decadence? With Palmolive, you can. Introducing new Palmolive Body Butter Luscious Mango Moisturising Body Wash. It leaves your skin feeling smooth and soft for an amazing shower experience. Head to mybodybutter.com.au and we're giving you the chance to win a major prize, a $5,000 Westfield shopping voucher or one of 9 runners-up Decadence prize packs. Just go online and show us what decadence looks like to you. Palmolive Body Butter Body Wash for everyday decadence.
Just in a trade secret, this season's sweetest fashion trend, Gelato Brights, up to 60% off other stores. Light it up with coloured denim and graphic tees. Get floaty in florals and lace, like this dress. They say $79, we say $24.95. Stock is limited, be quick.
61% of cold and flu sufferers experience aches and pains as well as nasal congestion. The great news is there's a solution that targets both. Introducing new Nurofen Cold and Flu. Its dual action targets both aches and pains as well as blocked and runny noses, giving you fast, effective relief. Don't just take any cold and flu treatment. Try a targeted solution. Nurofen Cold and Flu. Available in your pharmacy today. What's new where you see it first.
Randyland, Headland, Tammyland.
One of the funniest movies
Thunder Buddies for life, right, Johnny?
Right.
of all time.
You're just like the baby Jesus.
And another kick. I love you. I love you too.
Ted, in cinemas now.
Imagine a world where guys organised weddings. This could happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our wedding, arranged by yours truly. A toast to my beautiful bride. Huge thanks to the in-laws for being here today.
Where the hell's our transport?
I don't know what she sees in him.
Special mention to Bob for the tucker. Thanks, Bobby. To our super bridesmaids. They're all heroes. To my best man, groomsman. I couldn't have done it without you boys. And now for the pièce de la résistance.
Would you trust your groom to organise your entire wedding? Don't tell the bride. Coming soon to 10.
It's time to take a look at what you've been saying online. There's been plenty of feedback tonight on the story we had on prescription drugs, which is a really, really serious story. Jake said addiction will never be wiped out whilst they're available either by a chemist or black market drug dealers. But most of you were not surprised by the statistics regarding prescription medication overdoses.
And Belinda noticed Brad's fashion faux pas.
What have I done?
It's great to see, she said, that Brad takes the time to coordinate his socks with his hair.
I forgot about that, actually. I forgot. I think they're made out of bamboo. I bought them down the market with my mum. Bamboo.
Very fancy socks.
Thank you very much.
Don't go near a panda.
Anyway, let's check in with what's making news tonight, Hermione.
Taj, our top story tonight is the arrest over the death of teenager Thomas Kelly in Sydney's King's Cross. Thomas was king hit last Saturday night while walking in King's Cross. An 18-year-old man was arrested this evening at a sports field in Belmore in Sydney's southwestern suburbs. He was taken to a nearby police station to be interviewed and is expected to appear in court tomorrow. Taking a quick look at the weather across the country for tomorrow. 21 degrees in Brisbane, 16 in Sydney, 15 in Melbourne, 13 in Adelaide, 17 degrees in Perth. That's the weather forecast, guys.
Thank you, Hermione. Let's check in now with the team at breakfast. Nick Hayden, what are you guys looking at?
Oh, I'm going to be super quick so I can go to bed and then wake up and see the Dark Knight tomorrow. We are looking at divorce parties. We're looking at parking rorts in the city and the do's and don'ts of online dating. Bam.
Wow, that was fun. Enjoy Batman.
That was a
Credit,
record for
it's
Nick.
rolling now. Rolling as we speak.
And before we go, time for Bedtime Bites, my favourite part of the show, what we're reading online. I love this one. It was, of course, Belieber with Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Bob Catter posted a little piece on Twitter saying that he had the Bieber hairstyle before Justin did 40 years ago.
That's pretty good.
It's very good, isn't it?
Please, Bob, don't sing again.
Hermione?
Well, Google has taken its Street View cameras to Antarctica.
Wow.
Amazing streets. Let's have a look.
So there wouldn't be a lot of streets in Antarctica, would there?
Well, no,
Minimal
I guess
traffic.
that's the whole point.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You can check it out on YouTube, Brad.
Yeah, okay, right, it's 41. This might surprise a lot of people. Kobe Bryant, we saw the Dream Team before. Yep. His #1 goal at the Olympics, or in London, is to win gold. #2 goal is to meet J.K. Rowling.
Why? Harry Potter author.
Huge Harry Potter fan, reads all the books.
Really?
Absolutely obsessed.
Brilliant.
I know. Odd.
Wow. I think they might be able to arrange that for him
I
somehow.
have a funny feeling they will.
Almost as odd as Red Sox. Thanks, Brad.
I've got one more quick one, and that is if you go to the Daily Mail's website, they've got great news. Finding Nemo is going to have a sequel.
Oh, good.
Yes. 2016, not right away. It's going to be a little while till we see it, but good news.
Fantastic.
That's good news.
Very good. Before we go, a quick mention for our band tomorrow night. For the show, the local rock band King Cannons. They'll be joining us on the panel to talk about their new song and, of course, how being Australian plays such a big part in their music. King Canyons performing live with us tomorrow night. Don't miss it.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well done.
Look forward to it. You can sing. Before we go, a few weeks ago we showed you the BBC's television advertisement showcasing their coverage of the Olympics. Well, Channel 4 is the British broadcaster for the Paralympics, and they've just released their teaser for that prestigious event. It's called Meet the Superhumans, and here it is. Take a look. Hope you can join us tomorrow night. Good night.
Well, yo, right now, kick the bass for them brothers and let them know what goes on. Rolling stones of the rap game, not bragging. Lips bigger than Jagger, not sagging. Roll it backwards, I'ma leave it at that. That ain't got nothing to do with rap. Get up. Just like that. 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 I know this is a shock. Screaming gangster 20 years later. Of course, endorse while conscience is faded. New generations believe in them fables. Gangsta boogie on 2 turntables. Thank you for letting us be ourselves. So don't mind me if I repeat myself. These simple lines be good for your health. To keep them crime rhymes on the shelf. Live love life like you just don't care. Never scared. Rain and noise is the moment they feared. Get up, still a beautiful idea.
The following program is classified M. It contains sexual references. Channel 10 recommends viewing by mature audiences.